social construct or an actual measure of purity?
Most young women go about like, oh, I'm a virgin, and then
It makes them more
insecure.
it makes you
better.
Better
that
than
makes
the
you
other
better,
person.
Yeah.
and it opens you up to better options than every other person, but it doesn't.
Can
So
still
you going
be like
about
that
saying I'm a
and-
virgin and the society owes me something for keeping myself. Nobody owes you anything
At
for
all.
keeping yourself.
Because there are some virgins that are naughty. There are virgins that are dirty. Like the only thing that is remaining is penetration.
Yeah,
Like
actually.
they've
Yeah,
done sex,
you're right
they've done
about it.
everything, the kissing, the anal,
Yeah, you're
everything. But
You're right
it's
about
just
that.
penetration because
She's actually right.
maybe
Yeah,
their
it's true.
culture.
You know, there are people who keep saying, "Oh, I'm a virgin, I'm a virgin."
Oh,
yeah, but
you are
they've done
everywhere doing
Man,
every other thing.
Nigeria is a very sex-obsessed country that's
crazy.
also
It's
trying
so crazy.
and it's also trying so hard to also be very conservative.
Yeah.
So nobody is learning about sex, but everybody's having it.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about sex, but everybody's doing it. I am Hitabel,
Hi, I'm Emaidio,
And I am MM.
and welcome to Truth in
in
Bikinis.
where we strip down life toughest issues to its core truth.
Or the ones affecting women specifically. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about virginity. Is it a social construct or an actual measure of purity?
Okay. So
Virginity, let's just know what it means, right? Of having or not having had sexual intercourse, like
Okay.
not engaging in sexual intercourse. And then it can be associated with the biological aspect of it. So this is when the hymen is not broken.
Okay.
So we all believe that when the hymen is not broken, the person is a virgin. And when the hymen is broken, the person is not a virgin. But then the hymen can be broken and the person have not been involved in any sexual
activity.
yes. Because there are some sports or stress that breaks the hymen. And from research, it shows that there are some women that grow up and when they start developing, the hymen breaks by itself, but they say it's on rare cases, but there are people. So will you now say that those people are not virgins or they have been disvirgin? Because the main definition there is that when you've not had a sexual intercourse, but then this person is having a whole lot of stress and then the hymen is broken. Because the hymen is very thin. It's a thin layer covering.
And I think it grows back or something like that. I'm not sure. But I remember seeing something along the lines of like when it tears and rips away, like it comes back. Like so it's
Okay.
not even really something that you say is substantial. Let me just like go into this like would you say it's a biological reality or a cultural expectation or is just a state of mind?
I'm just thinking about it now, and I'm like, when did it really begin? You know, where did the whole virginity thing? When did it start? You know, and then I realized that I think it started in scriptures, in the
Okay.
Bible. It was a thing for a woman who just got married to for them to display the night
That's-
after
yeah.
that there was blood stain on the bed sheet. Yeah, I can't remember but in the Old Testament there was that party that when the night after you've consummated your marriage, you bring out the bed sheet. I don't know, maybe it
Yeah,
must have been white,
blood-stained
so you bring
bed
it out,
sheets.
blood stain, and then failure for that blood stain
stain to be there.
not to be there. That was that was problem, yeah, for the for that girl, you know. So I think it all started there, but I kind of think that over time it hasn't necessarily been about maybe scriptural stuff like that. I think over
Yeah, I
time it
think-
became a social.
I don't even think it's just. I think it's a cultural thing across. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's quite interesting how human beings are able to have similar ideas even when they are far from each other. Because I feel, yeah, in biblical times, well, other parts of the world, this was still something, even if they didn't have any connection to this
Yeah.
culture. Virginity has always been something that has been on people's minds and is fascinated by it. And, so I think it is, I don't know, I just think it's because of that it comes from that whole ownership of women idea. Like I don't know how to describe this thing,
Describe it.
but I feel like it's just a way of saying I have this, you don't have this.
Okay.
I think it's a way for men to be like, I'm the one
That did
That
it.
did
that did it.
I did it first.
Yeah, did it first, and I'll be the one to only do it. Do you
Yeah,
get it? It's like
yeah.
it's a thing of pride,
Right,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
honor.
for the guy, and also for the girl also
Yeah.
being raised
Yeah.
to see it as something of pride.
Yeah.
It's coming from, and which is kind of weird because that bleeding doesn't even come from the hymen tearing. It actually comes from your vagina, or the vagina being stretched out, and
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yes, that's what it's called.
Yeah, because over
it's
time it's
vaginal.
been said that the hymen tears at first
Yeah.
experience of intercourse, yeah?
Yeah.
So that experience breaks the hymen, and then there's it's been said that that layer has blood in it,
Blood
like
in
a small
it's
pouch.
actually vaginal
And-
tearing.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because the first time, especially if you're someone that is actively keeping yourself and everything, it's all about. I feel it's all about like your mind.
Mind.
Because let's say there's a girl that's actively keeping herself, and it's probably even she's not really into. She has mentally prepared herself to just shut her legs
Yeah.
till she gets married.
Till
Then
she
there's
get
someone
married.
else that's more maybe comfortable with the idea of losing their virginity. In fact, something they're excited for, something that they want. That girl that has shut her mind to it, the vagina will not relax as much. She'll still be tense because this is something you've held on to for
Yeah,
a very
Oh,
long
you're
time.
right about
yes.
that.
So it's going to be very tense. So when that penetration happens, it tears, and that's where the blood comes from. Because you hear some stories of some girls that their first time ever,
No
there
blood.
was no blood.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because they were comfortable, this was something they wanted to do. Maybe they didn't experience bleeding until like the third time. Some people, it just never
Yes.
happened
Yeah.
for them. So I feel the whole hymen this thing is not.
Because I saw they said the hymen itself might
like
not be
a myth.
broken that very first
It's
day.
like a myth,
that
yeah?
it might even be the second or the third day.
Yeah, it
Yes.
can
So but
happen.
you've already involved yourself in
The
sexual intercourse, but
So
you're still a virgin.
I
The
feel,
hymen
I
of
feel,
the thing is
I feel at the end of the day, it's a mental,
It's a mental,
Yes.
it's
yeah,
a
it's a
mental
mental
thing.
even the
thing.
emotional virginity.
And I think also we should try our best to just acknowledge it as a mental thing, because there are some tricky situations. Like
Yeah.
if you teach girls that like they have to keep themselves and they're unclean if they are not able to keep themselves, and the whole virginity thing, like if this happens to you, then this is set in stone. When in reality, some girls, their first time, they didn't have that choice.
Yeah.
They didn't have that choice.
In a rape case,
In a
yeah.
rape case or
Yes,
something. So
yes,
that
yes.
guilt, that shame, and
Shame.
disgust will
Stay.
still be there.
Yeah, it will
Whether they
stay.
made the decision to engage in it or
Or
not.
not.
Yeah, so the language around it should really be changed. It should be more of a mental something.
Yes,
It
yes,
should
yes.
be considered as something mental. Like you have decided to make that decision to.
And it's a good decision, yeah?
Yeah.
Very
So,
well. Very well.
all right. Please, go
Okay.
ahead.
The hymen myth. Why do people still believe that an intact hymen equals virginity?
Because I think they always have. Culture is something that's very,
Very
strong.
strong, yeah.
Culture can be stronger than science, facts. When it comes to people's culture, they can hold on to it, and there's nothing that can really
Yeah,
change
people hold
that
on to stuff like
perception.
my
Yes,
grandmother
yes.
did this, so it's like it just flows through.
Flows
Nobody
through,
is
whether
asking
it's
why.
right,
Yes.
Yeah,
They
nobody's
just have to
asking
follow
why.
it.
Nobody is even bothering to get
I
some
think
education
also
on the
it's
whole
lack of
matter.
education. When people do not understand, just like we've said now, we've known that the hymen can be broken without involving in sexual
Yeah.
intercourse. But there are people who don't have idea about it at all. What they know is that if
Blood should
if the
come out.
blood is not there, you are
You
not
are
a
not-
virgin.
yeah,
if
you're
the
not a
blood is
virgin.
there, you are a virgin.
Yeah.
So that is just their final conclusion. They don't care if the hymen broke on the way. That's not their own. So if they do not have that understanding, and then the stereotypes, they believe that from the ancient times, that blood is always there. So they just go about with that particular conception that this is what it is. So there is no change.
And the only people that will acknowledge that maybe it's not like that, or are people that are kind of the type of people that are watching this podcast now, or people in the more modern era, because currently there are still people that just live in, even in the town, even in this yourself, there are people that just live in that ignorance of these things. They just choose that what my mommy taught me, that's what I'm
That's what
carrying.
it
That's
is.
what
Yeah.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
So I just think
A young man said he got married to his wife, and then the wife said she's a virgin. But then when he had sex with her, there was no blood. But then the wife kept saying that a man has never crossed her leg. He said, like, who would believe that kind of a thing? That can never happen. So people on social media, they were like, the woman is a liar, this and that. The man said, but the way she's still telling him that I have never done this. She said, I swear. Like the woman was so, but the man said no, that how like, can I have sex with you and there's no blood and you're telling me you're a virgin? How can that happen?
wait, why is it even something that, I mean, okay, fine. Let's assume that he's angry that she was dishonest about it. But still though, like, what if she was just very excited to do this thing and she's just relaxed?
Yeah.
Because it all
You're
just
right.
boils down to she was relaxed enough to
Yeah.
get into it. I mean, she could be lying, who knows?
No, I actually agree with the whole relaxation thing because I've heard stories of brides who just couldn't have sex after
Yes.
months of
Oh my
getting married.
goodness.
Yes. And
It will
there's a
close.
medical term for it.
I forgot what it's called.
Vaginismus.
Vaginosis.
Vaginismus or something like that. And there's this
Yes.
popular lady on Instagram, Tito. Tito, the writer, that's her name. She had it. And she said I think for almost a couple of months, they couldn't have sex. The husband couldn't penetrate. Her mind was shut down, as in she couldn't just have sex, And there are women so that's why I'm saying I actually agree with the idea of the mental state of the woman in preparation to have sex, whether it's criminal sex or it's legal sex. But I actually agree with the fact that it's a mental thing, it's a state of mind. So a woman is relaxed enough and then she's ready for it. So telling the woman that because you didn't see blood, it's like I don't know if that thing. I can tell that. In fact, I think that very few women actually see blood on their first time.
Yeah, actually, I think so.
Very few.
Because I think I know this one person that she just told me about her own first experience, like first time ever. There was no blood, there was no pain. Like she was surprised that she was all these things that they're saying will kind of happen. I mean, there was people was very small. It wasn't feeling the way it's just described that it was supposed to be. I think it was, let me say, the third, fourth time that they got intimate with each other that she actually saw blood. And what even happened was that probably it was just in a very awkward kind of a distance. So she wasn't even as comfortable with that. So that blood is not coming from the hymen tearing. It's like I said, it's come from vaginal tearing. So maybe, who knows, the hymen could have been torn on the first time or maybe the third time, whatever. But that's just, the experience varies for every woman. Every woman's body is different, mind is different, first experience is going to be different. So for you to just say this is how it is, this is how a woman should be, is not.
But even the blood is not even a guarantee, because a girl said she told her boyfriend she's a virgin. So the day they finally decided to make out, she had her menses. So she went there, washed up very well, and they did it, and the blood came out. And the guy was like, oh, sorry, and they started, but she was the one that knew she wasn't a virgin. So imagine that kind of a case. The boy is seeing the blood now, but then...
I mean, like, how was she not, like, won't she tell him, like, was he unaware?
Because he knows that the girl is a virgin. She told her that. And then at the end of the day, you're seeing blood coming out after making out. So that means blood service is not a guarantee.
So
It's not a guarantee.
I think you have the next question, yeah?
Okay, so should virginity still matter in modern relationships?
Yeah, I think it should. It should still matter because it's a personal choice.
Yeah, I personally feel that it really shouldn't, in the sense that, like I said, the whole language around it, somebody could have been assaulted or something. You don't know how mentally, I've been with someone like that, nerve-wracking it is to have this deeply rooted religious perception of purity, and for that to be taken from you, and then
guilt.
everybody around you is now making noise about this virginity thing. I'm so proud to, you hear someone online, I'm so proud to be a virgin, this, that. It
Seriously.
will
Traumatize
it
you.
will traumatize a person.
Seriously.
It's not going to make them feel good about themselves ever, especially when it's like this is your pride as a woman, like, and it's like I don't have this anymore. And even if it is something that, even if they did it consensually, and maybe they've gotten to the point where this is not something they want to engage in again, they're trying to turn a new leaf and just be more, because I feel it's important. I think celibacy, keeping yourself, these are
Yes.
important things to value. And the reasons I'm going to say, I'm
Yeah.
saying it is because this sexual intimacy cause deep connections. It should be
Yes,
something
yes.
that's deep and
share
personal
with
and
someone,
beautiful,
yeah.
and share it with someone that is really worth it. So that relationship you have with that person is stronger. But when you're very sexually active and you're promiscuous with different people, you won't value it. You won't feel the strength of the union that sexual intimacy can bring with you and the partner you decide to. That's my reason
And you know, even a
behind it.
spirit is attached to it.
I don't even
imagine
want to.
having-
Let's not really
Let's
go
not
into.
even
Seriously.
I don't want us to
bother
really
about
go into
Seriously.
the
Let's not bother about
spirits
it, because
aspect of it.
I personally think that, like my Isabella said, the whole virginity thing, being a matter in relationships, should be like, it's like a personal choice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a personal choice which should be born out of conviction for maybe someone really understands that I want to keep myself. And I just want, it's about me. It's not really
Yeah,
about
anybody
about
else.
anyone else. And there is not something to hold,
Like,
to be holding
as if
it
it's my
and be
entire
carrying it and
value.
making it
Yes,
look like
yes,
anybody who
yes.
has maybe, whether by mistake or by error, who
Whatever.
has ever been violated in any way, is any less.
Yes, exactly.
Because what I feel is that sometimes women think, most young women go about like, oh, I'm a virgin, and then
It makes them morally superior.
it makes you
Better.
Better
that
than the
makes you
other
better,
person.
Yeah.
and it opens you up to better options than every other person, but it doesn't. If you want to get a job, you're gonna have to go to school, and you're gonna have to have the skills for the job.
And you can
so
still
you're going
be like
about
that
saying I'm a
and-
virgin, and the society owes me something for keeping myself. Nobody owes you anything
At
for keeping
all,
yourself.
because it's not going
It
to
has
give
to be
you a better. It's not going to give you
better
a
spouse.
spouse.
No,
It's
it
not going
doesn't.
to. Most likely, in fact, I even feel the type of guy to say I want a virgin and the type of guy to say that doesn't matter to me. I feel the person with a less toxic state of mind is the
Yeah,
person that it
the
doesn't
same
matter
one.
to.
Yes,
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 actually.
Because there's always and it's not trying to say that you wanting to be someone who is a virgin is
It's
a
a
bad
wrong thing. No, it's
it's
not.
not, but there's a particular stereotype of guy that is very heavy to carry it on his head.
That it has to
I
be a
have to
virgin.
be-
no?
Yes.
You don't have to marry a
You know,
virgin.
and,
then-
it's fraud- and the
then-
place that is probably even coming from, like I said, that whole ownership something. He's wants it to be something of pride that you
Yeah,
see this
that's-
woman,
yeah,
she
I
has not
own
done
her.
anything with any other man than me.
Yeah.
So when you think about it and associate it to those, carry, if you're a virgin, if you're someone that's not trying to be sexually active, it's a very good thing.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
beautiful
good thing. It's a
It's
beautiful thing.
awesome.
It should
But
not just
remember
be
that it doesn't make you
men,
better
yes,
than
any other
anybody
person.
else.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make
It
you better
doesn't.
than anybody else. It doesn't make you superior. And it's a good thing that you should keep for reasons that are like, maybe self-love or you just trying to protect yourself from certain things like STIs, STDs.
Yes,
it should come
yes,
from
yes,
that type
yes,
of
yes,
When I was
yes.
Yeah.
much younger, I think when I was much younger in secondary school, I realized that most of my mates, by the time we got to SS3, that sweet 16 stuff, and everybody was already having sex, and I was like, so I was like, they're already doing it.
And it's
and
crazy.
everybody was having boyfriends, everybody was just, and we were making out in the toilets,
Can you
in
imagine?
school and all of that, and you
And
just be
school
hearing
was
stories.
wild.
It was terrible,
It was wild.
And you just, of course. So I just used to look at it and be like, they're already doing it. Is it time?
My time has come.
Is it time? So, but I think one of the things that held me back was the fact that one of the things that held me back, even before I had any sense of maybe purity or righteousness or anything like that, one of the things that held me back was the fact that I I lived with my cousin, and she had a teenage pregnancy.
Okay.
She got pregnant at 14. And
That's crazy.
yeah, she got pregnant at 14, and of course she gave birth to that child. And I thought about it and I said, do you want to get pregnant at 14? Definitely. Definitely no, of course. Who is going to trade that? All of those things went through my head, and then I just said, okay, so it's a no then. So let's rest. So that was my first motivation for keeping the purity aspect. And then later on I realized that you just like we're saying, this thing should actually be personal, born out of some convictions you have. And then later on I just thought to myself, it doesn't look like it's worth it. You are just there, and then the guilt, and then you're struggling with
And
this,
another thing about it is that when you decide to keep yourself and you decide to whether be celibate, you've turned a new leaf, or you've just never even given in, it kind of helps you wean out people that just want you for the sake of trying to sleep with you. It's like you have to realize when you see it as something of self-protection, it's like, okay, obviously there are guys that will pretend, they are
getting between your legs.
They are waiting with you, but not for you.
Yes.
Okay, they are waiting for you, but not with you. Exactly, like a guy will be with you and be like, "Oh, I'm waiting till we get married," but he's outside doing whatever.
Yes, I knew people like that when I think in the university, and I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not gonna sleep with you, and then. Okay, now no wahala. we are together, right? But, and then you be hearing stories about your boyfriend is somewhere there. And then
there's this man.
Or sometimes you just stumble on a chat, and you know that it's a relationship kind of chat that may have led to something, and then you'll be trying to be like, okay, I understand. I don't have it to give, so you can get it elsewhere, something like that. But it didn't completely feel right to me. So when I have to just say, okay, you chat, just go. And so that you be free to do what
the man is looking for.
Exactly, because it's like
I can't deal with this kind of
it's not as if it's any easier on you as a woman trying to keep yourself, You've made that active decision that, okay, I'm going to keep myself. And if a guy actually does love you and does care about you and is willing to wait and is willing to discipline himself, any guy that can discipline himself sexually is someone that I would give the highest, like I'll give him respect. Yeah. That's a guy that I will actually respect, a guy that can discipline himself sexually. Because do you know what that means? That means you've ignored what society expects out of you. You've ignored the men around you that are also trying to tell you that you're stupid for having any sexual discipline. You understand? And it's so sad because a lot of guys, like, they carry sexual prowess as if it's like
it's like a belt of
the same way they carry how much money they have as a sense of value. They can tend to carry how many women they've slept with as a sense of value. And I think it's actually a very toxic thing to do. It's like the same way you want to make a sexual experience a special thing as a woman. A man can also make the decision that that's what he wants to do. And I think there are guys that actually do that. There are guys that are like that. There are guys that, you understand, they are not just, even if they are not keeping themselves, they will not just let anybody have access to their body because they value their body. They value who they are going to enter. They value themselves. Because this STI thing, this STD thing, mind you, people don't even know what is protection. That one is just a decoration of a thing. I'm very serious, especially in this Nigeria. Nigeria is a very sex-obsessed country that's also trying
crazy.
And it's also trying so hard to also be very conservative. So nobody is learning about sex, but everybody's having it. Nobody's talking about sex, but everybody's doing it. You understand? Nobody's willing to talk about their experience. And it's so annoying because online I'll see girls, like these days I'm seeing people expressing themselves, and I'm very happy when I see it. Someone talking about her sexual experience, like, oh, this is what happened between. I mean, it's a very personal issue, but I'm glad that Nigerians are comfortable enough to actually even talk about these things. That means there's some sort of change, because true, we know very well that this thing that this girl is talking online, like, we know the gist of almost everybody and how they are doing it, and do you get? It shouldn't be something that should be so hush hush. When it's too hush hush like that, that ability to learn what to do and
Then,
what not to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Because someone might see that video. Someone saw that video, commented. Someone commented in that video, why will you post this kind of thing? You don't have shame. Another person commented on that video, oh, I seriously didn't know this is something that you had to do in sexual encounters. Do you understand? Someone, because she was talking about using protection and this and that. You see people in the comment section saying, they've never used protection before.
you
Then the
imagine?
girl will not respond in comments, no, you're not supposed to do like that. Do you see how
See, there is this
it's
man.
better than hiding
Yeah,
and
it's
pretending?
better than hiding and pretending.
The aspect of there's this man, the aspect of men waiting for a lady. The man said that there is this lady he wanted dating, and then he wasn't having sex with her, but she said she's a virgin and that she'll wait until marriage. That literally didn't want to marry this girl, but then he said she was too stubborn, so he waited. He paid her bride price, married her, and after disvirgining her, he filed for a divorce. He said that was what he wanted.
That's
he just wanted to
crazy.
lay with her, and
that
that's
is-
That's
all.
psychopathic.
Anyway, that's a whole different matter entirely, because that's why women should learn
learn to not
how to
carry
make choices. Yeah.
make choices and
Yes.
also
But what
like
if he was pretending and said,
So-
"Okay, I'll wait," and you don't even know this is
that's
how
why
it
that's why we
is.
said that's another reason why I said that, like, we are trying to say that you shouldn't carry it on top of
On
your
your head,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
So
Let
stuff-
it be that even if you lose this thing now, you know that it hasn't changed you. You know that it hasn't reduced your value. You know that it's just something that happens and it's something that human beings do. You understand?
Yeah, and actually, it should that idea should that's why I said your conviction should be born on something stronger. Like,
Yeah.
it should be built from something stronger.
So that
For instance, if I kept myself to marriage was because, one, maybe at the beginning it was fear of getting pregnant. Yes, at the beginning it was fear. And then when I started to know God, I began to know God. I was like, I can't be everywhere.
yeah.
Like, I just can't be because everyone is doing it. I can stay.
Yeah.
I can stay without it.
That's
And then
a
I
very-
started, and it was good for me. At
a
some
good
point,
thing.
it
It's
wasn't a
beautiful.
big deal anymore. I wasn't even bothered about it. I could
yes,
see people just
exactly.
doing what they want, and I said, okay, that's their choice. But I've made my own choice. Yeah. So, and it was born on a conviction that's known to me.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
so
But if
beautiful.
you're
if
pressured
you're carrying
into
on your
it,
head,
when
The
you are pressured into it, there are some virgins that are naughty. There are virgins that are dirty. Like, the only thing that is remaining is penetration.
Yeah,
Like,
actually.
they've done
Yeah,
sex,
you're right
they've done
about it.
everything, the kissing, the anal,
Yeah, you're
everything. But
You're right
it's
about
just
that.
penetration because
She's actually right.
maybe
Yeah,
their
it's true.
culture.
You know,
Yeah.
there are people who keep saying, "Oh, I'm a virgin, I'm a virgin,"
Oh,
but,
yeah, but
you are
they've done
everywhere doing
Man,
every other thing.
seriously.
There's this thing that Mormons do. It's called, I say Mormons. Those ones, they are very, very religiously, like, do you get men and women? They are trying their best to keep themselves, like,
cover up and
cover
hide.
up,
Yeah.
hide, don't sleep with anybody. And one thing I appreciate is that the same pressure that's put on men is the same pressure that's put on women in the Mormon church. There's this thing called soaking. I did not know what is. These people are dangerous. So
They say they are dangerous.
they are dangerous. The guy will put it there, but and leave it to soak. He will not thrust or anything.
What?
So in turn, they are not
serious?
actually having.
So they are not having sex.
They are not
Yeah.
having sex, and sometimes they
They are
hire
just
someone
soaking
called a bed shaker to shake the bed. So
Can you imagine?
Wait, where did you watch this one?
okay, there's this thing I saw, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's a series
Wow.
that was trending, right? About like the life of Mormons. So I would hear the terminology once in a while. Like, I have this deep fascination with Mormonism and everything about it. So I think for the first time I've heard soaking, I've heard different things that they do to avoid having sex, And this particular one, someone just said it online, and I was like, "That's crazy." And in your mind, you're not doing anything
doing
bad.
anything, but you are doing
so someone
something.
can still come out and say,
Just-
"Oh, I'm a virgin. I'm keeping myself," but you're a wicked virgin. You're a very dangerous virgin.
Yeah, so it's like,
All
you
right.
know-
So we've talked a lot about women, but we found out that this virginity thing seems to be more pronounced, more valued when it comes to women, and men are not held to the same standards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said before, we live. It's a thing of ownership, right? I feel it really stems from that pride and ownership something, because we live in a man's world. Everything has been run by men for such a long
Patriarchal.
time. The patriarchy is a very deep rooted system, and everything at the end of the day panders to men, because I think there's this word, the name is metrosexual. Do you know what a metrosexual is? It's a man that smells good and takes care of himself. So the world panders to men so much that they have to create a word.
Can you
Say
imagine?
who that takes care of himself.
You know, they expect men to
never
flex their muscles and be
Yeah.
so good. There's this tribe in Uganda. Before the man marries the bride, he will have to sleep with the bride's aunt. To
For
co-
them
for,
to
for,
confirm.
for the aunt to confirm if he's man enough. And if he's not man
kind of
enough,
foolish-
that's a no. Like, I mean, a
What kind
tribe,
of useless
a tribe
tradition
in
is that?
Uganda. And if he's man enough, then they'll give the go ahead. So
Like I'm
you
saying,
understand
yeah.
that thing.
So we live by so many patriarchal systems that we hold on to, that at the end of the day, the original concepts that you, even if you want to say biblically, gets lost to the systems of the patriarchy. Because this virginity thing in the Bible is not just for women. Waiting for marriage and avoiding fornication and adultery is a standard that is expected to be held by both man
Men
and
and
woman,
women.
by everybody.
But they're making
So how did
men's
it become
own
only a
look.
woman?
Exactly.
How did the woman take the
It's-
whole shape?
it's a man's world.
Like I said, it's a woman's thing because, like, do you understand? Women were not allowed to go to school. We're not allowed to have their own autonomy. So whatever a man decides is what goes.
Yes,
Is whatever a man decides, whether it is correct, whether it is wrong or anything. That's their decision. That's what If a man decides a man needs 100 wives, he needs
Yeah.
100
okay,
wives.
It's okay,
You understand?
very okay,
If a man says that this is what, even the birthing position, prior to how you lay down on your back to give birth, women used to give birth in birthing stools, like sit down. So gravity helps pull the child out. But one day, this man, King Henry, decided that he wanted to see the baby coming out of his wife's vagina, and made the decision that, okay, let's do it. Created a lot of medical studies and stuff like that to support this claim, and it now became a globally accepted this thing. Even when the easiest and best way, like
be
even
to squat,
scientifically,
yeah,
to
squat.
squat,
Yeah.
gravity is
Best
helping
way.
you
Bring
pull
down
that
the
child
You're
out,
right about that.
and we are still holding on to this laying on your back thing just because one man hundreds of years ago said,
stood up and
I
said
want to see
something.
the baby come
my
out.
baby's face.
I want to
And
see the baby
everybody
come
had
out.
to follow.
You get, so that's just it. Because I feel a lot of these things is just stemming from deep rooted misogyny.
I feel men
patriarchy.
should also take this decision of being virgins.
Yeah.
Not just the women. Because even you going about sleeping with
This is
different
funny. It's a funny thing.
seriously. They should also think of that. Because it's a thing of joy if the wife is a virgin and the husband is a virgin.
It will actually be a very
It will
nice
be very
thing.
nice something, but
you
not
know.
when the husband is with Mary, with Esther, with Maria, and the wife is there keeping herself. And
The whole thing is that your first experience, you do not have anything in
To
your mind
compare it
to. So you're not there and you're thinking about, oh, John used to do it better. Oh, why is
Yeah.
my husband doing it like this?
and that's
It's a mess. When you're there, you're thinking, Henry,
And some will
Henry,
say my wife is boring because you've enjoyed it with this
So-
other person.
So yeah, that the whole thing is not even it's not even about the physical thing. It's about the mind. It's about the whole mind thing, because it's everything is happening in the mind. You're getting all, as in you're messing everything up if you're everywhere. You're everywhere, even as a man or as a woman.
Yes.
So we all should be held
it
to
makes
the
you
same
devalue
standard.
people.
Yeah.
If you're someone that's promiscuous, it makes you devalue people. You don't see people as human beings. You just see them as their private
As
parts.
items, yeah.
As items.
Yeah.
Someone that you don't want to talk to again, you're still
But,
talking to
yeah,
him
because-
because
Recently
Yeah.
there was a guy.
And it's
sorry,
wrong.
even though he committed suicide. It happened that he got entangled with this girl, and then he said he didn't want to marry the girl. But you don't want to marry her. You're sleeping with her. So she gives birth to the first one. You still do not back off. I don't want to marry her. And the girl says, you must marry me. And then before you know it, she's pregnant again. So how are you people doing it? As in, if you're not interested
like I
and you are
said,
not leaving.
They just say the person
it
is
creates
good.
very, very toxic situations. All the situationship, all this thing, just because of that sexual pleasure of being with that person,
always
you're willing to string them along, even if you have no emotional
no
attachment to them,
emotional
even if you
attachment.
don't see them as someone that you want to create a family with or get married to, or even like you don't want to wake up to this person, like you're literally irritated by this person, but just
The
because
person
Yeah.
is.
Just to have that,
They just feel some girls
that
are so
discipline
good
is
on
a
bed
good
that
thing.
they
Yeah,
have
it's
to
a good
continue
thing on both ends.
and it will save you a lot of trouble. Yes.
And
Okay. So
stress.
please.
Okay. Does a woman's worth decreases if she's not a virgin?
No.
Definitely
No,
no.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I don't think it does
You know.
because
It doesn't. I don't
even
think.
though I feel like you are the one who determines your what.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
you're the
then
one who
it
determines your
doesn't.
what, but you can't leave it to anyone to tell you, oh, this is what
This is
you're
what
worth.
you're worth.
Yeah,
Because,
no, you can't.
and anybody that's carrying that mindset, the one thing I like about the world is that it's big. There are plenty of people. Anyone that's carrying that mindset, just walk away. Like there's somebody else. There are people that really don't see it as such.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't try and live your life for people that you know.
Always trying to explain yourself.
Yeah,
Always
exactly.
trying
Who
to
don't even
come
have
up.
potentials. All they know is that I'm a virgin. And at the end, when the man comes, I'll get married to my husband as a virgin, sit in a house. Like they don't just have plans. But let's say
anything.
there is this other lady who has potentials and maybe by the way she lost hers. What then? Will you say her worth is
You
less?
will not be talking
Because
this virginity. You'll be talking this virginity as a lost us. It wasn't something that they could lose before.
so
Oh well, I just feel that I think women should just like we said, just make those decisions
For
and
yourself.
make them for yourself.
Like
Yeah.
do your
don't
own
need to be
thing.
Value yourself.
Value
Yeah.
yourself. I would
Yourself.
say the best thing to do is to try and keep yourself. But remember not to put your value in that.
In that,
Yeah, because honestly, we're human beings. We make mistakes. And like I said before, when you begin to see sin as like this is biblically Christian mindset. When you begin to see sin as the kind of rules your father would actually give you, like don't run by the pool, for instance, or your dad is saying, my dad would tell me not to eat too much sugar. Me, as I'm eating the sugar, I'm like, what are you saying? I want to eat sugar. I like it. I like licking it. When I had stomach ache, I understood why
Yeah,
he said
he
if I
said
started
don't-
crying, my stomach is hurting me.
advise
My
yourself.
dad would be like, Abi, I told you shouldn't lick the sugar. Come, hugs me. And now I know
And
not to
gives
lick
you
sugar again.
medication,
But
yeah.
it would have been nicer if I listened to him in the beginning and
Yeah,
didn't experience it in the first
yes,
place.
you're right
So
about
that is when you think of it, like rather than seeing it as these big random rules that someone is just telling you to do.
Yeah.
When you see it like that, you'll be able
Yes.
to have more peace
Yeah.
in making the decisions to not commit sins.
these ladies that go about from one to another, they have this risk of losing their wombs. They have the risk because imagine if you're pregnant and you might not want to keep the child because you know you're not ready and you go for abortion. You know how many women have lost their wombs because of abortion.
Yeah.
And the HIV, STD, all those things.
Yeah, even
So
kissing, even see,
kissing, so you can see the
you're
blood.
not safe. Not even that. You're not safe. If you feel kissing is something that you
You
can
can
do.
get away with it.
Hepatitis B is there.
Yeah.
Herpes is
Yeah.
there. Mono is there. So
So
HSV and hepatitis, there's no cure. And you can get that one literally just from kissing. Your saliva just needs to touch someone else's side. That's all. So even if you want to do anything like that, make sure you know the person.
The person.
Know the person. And make sure both of you, even before you even do
You
your
know the
test.
person's status.
How many women go for a test before they sleep with men?
But that's the thing. There are some people.
Not the person.
There's this
What
one.
does it mean?
There's this
And
one
that's why
girl
they
that
need
I
to
knew
know
that
now.
before she and this guy started a sexual relationship or anything with each other, they both got tested.
There are
And
people who
didn't
do.
even, you have to be very conscious about these things. And another reason why some will not get tested is that, like, the stigma and the shame around the fact that they are even going to get sexually involved with each other. Like, they just want to do it like, oh, it was a mistake. It just happened. Fast.
Fast.
But
And
it's
they are-
not as if it's something like, but you actually did plan to do
yeah.
that. You did put the effort. So if you want to do it to your full chest.
Yeah.
And do it carefully.
Do it with your full chest.
Yes.
You want to sin at least. Sin
and protect yourself. Sin and protect yourself from most of the repercussions that you can.
Yeah.
Use protection, get tested. Don't follow all these people and be careless. You don't know what they are carrying. They don't know what they are carrying themselves.
Yeah, most of them
Sometimes you should be
don't
with
know.
one person, not
This
different
one person told me that
people.
this one person told me that he doesn't use protection because it's childish.
So they say skin to skin is nicer.
Not even skin, like saying that it is
childish.
a childish
Can you
thing to
imagine?
want to use protection. Fully grown man sleeping with people's daughters.
Can you imagine?
And I say daughters, knowing that I'm saying
Because
daughters.
he's an old man.
No, not old man, like an adult.
Yeah.
Saying that it's like, if you tell something like that, like say if a girl tells me to use a condom or something.
Sometimes the
that's a
grown-up
childish
men are
something.
even doing this thing more
Yeah.
than the single
So-
guys.
So I think that it should actually be something that you make that decision, and of course, if you make that decision yourself, and you are convinced about what you're doing, you'll be stronger and bolder in it. I hear people say they get tempted. I don't know. You can walk away from. I mean, there was this guy in my school. Then I would be like, oh, he's a master seducer. I looked at him. Say you used to do what? He used to seduce. I said, my friend, will you get out from that place? Because what will you be doing? If you start misbehaving, I'll just kick you out of my room.
Yeah.
If you just, I'm kicking you out of
So
my
they're
room.
always turned
My
on.
room is always open because if you just mistakenly you are walking out, I leave my door open. So just get out, my friend. So that's the idea that you're going to get tempted or you're going to just. I mean, these things, like you said, these things are planned. People don't just walk into. You already know that if you find yourself, if you are someone
It
who's
was
always
mistake,
in
but
close,
you shave before going there.
Yeah. If you are someone who's
We
always
share before going, but you know the mistake.
if you're someone who is always in a closed environment with an opposite sex, you just know that one day you get into trouble.
And the truth is that, like, another thing is that if you're sure about the decision, you wouldn't even put yourself in a position for something close to anything happening. Like, do you get?
Yeah,
You made that
that's just
decision.
it,
You
yeah.
decided. You won't even. They say flee away. They flee from
Flee
temptation.
from all-
Yes.
This
all
one person used to
appearance
tell
of
me like
evil.
that is to try and fight it. Like, we'll try and be together alone and now see how we can. That's not it.
Staying
oh.
alone self is
That sounds so
it's
dumb.
tempting.
Like,
It's very dumb. That's
Seriously.
the dumbest idea
like
ever.
you're trying
Because
to
what are you talking
learn.
about?
Like, the Bible did not say you should stay and fight the temptation. You should fight the sin. Say flee, run away. Joseph,
Yeah.
what did he do? Like Joseph did not walk away.
He
He did
ran.
not do. Ma,
He
please,
ran,
no.
oh,
He ran.
and-
He left his place.
He left
And
his clothes for her.
the cloth was with the woman.
Because he knows himself. He's a human being.
Yeah,
If he
he
just
is.
stayed small, he just ran, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Some would say that they were raped, but yet he went to the hotel to meet this man in his room. Not for
Oh, well.
just that they
I
invited
think
you for.
those are just different issues entirely. Yeah, those are
No,
different
there's-
issues.
you know,
Because
there's
there are
this-
actually scenarios where you have a business.
No, this is not
discussions
business
with
something.
people,
The man is
and you
inviting
end up.
you. You know that this person has an eye on you and he's inviting you, please let me see you in the hotel.
Yeah.
And then you went there and you don't want it. But
I
you
mean,
went
of
there. But when
course.
it's business something, it's totally different.
Yeah,
But
of
not when
course.
you're
But
going
even
there.
then, it doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't
Yeah,
make
Yeah,
it
it doesn't
okay,
make it
but
okay.
there are some
that
things you need to
a girl
avoid.
comes up and maybe comes to see you. I've been in such a situation before.
Yeah.
Go to see someone and then they said they were sick and then and then they're trying to force themselves on you. And like, no.
A
It's not
hotel.
right.
It
Because,
doesn't,
like, that's-
it doesn't make it okay, yeah?
I think she's just trying to say that, like, we should try our best to don't put yourself in
Yeah.
any
Yes.
compromising
On the spot,
situation. But also, if anybody, like, don't feel that that's an excuse at all, just
Yeah.
because you're alone with somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can be alone with somebody and that person can respect you and actually, respect your decisions.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, I think we're at the end of our discussion, and we have agreed that even though even we have agreed that it may not necessarily be a biological thing, and it's not necessarily a measure of purity, but it's a good thing to keep.
Yeah.
Even though we're not going to
Personal.
decide that it's maybe there's a name for it, but it's a good thing for one to keep their bodies.
Yeah,
It's
same
a-
way
it's
that
a
it's good for
thing.
you to be honest,
Yes,
or it's good for you
yes.
to.
It's a
You get these
wonderful
are
thing, yeah.
additions, but not your final say of
Yeah.
who you
Who
are.
you
or
are,
your-
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You should not judge others who did, but then if you can, you keep it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
If it's a good thing to do,
should
and
come
it's
from
and
inside.
actually
Yes.
another thing is that it's just like, even though they are additions, they actually have a way of improving oneself.
Yeah, of course. They
Self
improve
overall
you
self
overall.
self personality, or it's just like when you wear a good dress, you smell well. There's a way you feel
Yes.
about yourself. Yeah, different than when you just come out on a rough day, you are tattered, you just bath, you just carry whatever you saw, and then you come out to town. But when you dress well, you take that time to take care of yourself. When you come out, you feel different about yourself.
Yeah.
You can
And so
keep
these
it
are the
in a thing of
things that are
pride.
actually good to do. It's not like you're carrying it on your head, but when you make these decisions, you feel better about yourself. Your overall outlook on life is different, yeah?
Yeah.
As in the idea that you can actually stay that period, you can keep yourself for a
And you
long
have so
time.
much more
Yeah.
mental
Yeah.
My mom said
clarity.
when
And
she
then
went
there's
for-
clarity, yeah. When most times it's been said, even the Bible says, so a man who doesn't have control over his sexual this thing. So when you are not everywhere, trying to, and there are women who are just, you are here, you are there, you are here, you are there, you are there, you are there. There's no clarity, even mentally.
You won't even have space. Your
there's
brain will
no,
be
as in, so
clouded.
it has a way of clouding your head.
Your
Everything,
judgments, your
everything is
Yes.
clouded. Your ability to even move forward, because you are spending so much energy on the wrong things. You're spending so much energy on the wrong things and leaving very little. Because sex is a high energy exercise. And then you are doing it. You are everywhere every day, and then you are.
There are people
and
who are able to keep it, but at some point, my mom said when she went for NYC camp, that 3 weeks camp, there is this girl. She said she was sitting one night somewhere, and then she heard at the back, "Please do it once more. It's my first time." My mom said, "Wait, that you kept yourself throughout secondary school and throughout the university these 3 weeks of staying in the camp, and you decided
I
to
think
lose."
there's something that happens in that camp though, because but it seems like everybody just runs wild when they get on
As
this.
in just 3
Yeah,
weeks,
that
and you
was
lose
story.
something.
That one is story
and you're
for another day.
This is a total stranger, and I don't even know the sweet he put in his mouth.
Maybe,
Tell her
maybe
something.
she didn't want to. There are some people that they are virgins but not by choice. Some people are virgins not by choice. Like there's some people, maybe they are socially awkward or something, and this is something that they want to lose. And
But
not
there's
everybody.
nobody to help them.
Exactly. So I think it's not everybody that their conviction is that they really want to keep themselves. Because I've seen so many story times. I saw one story time of this girl. She's like, I'm 23 years old and I'm a virgin, and this is how I ended up in this position. And she actually does want to lose it. You understand? Maybe at that time, the different times change. You understand? Some people can change their disposition and how they feel about certain things. So maybe.
I think some people also lose it due to the people that surround them.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody, I've done it, this one I've done, all your friends. And then you're like, I'm the only one left out, and you want to do it so that you are into the system.
Don't do that.
The small system. All right, so I think we've come to the end of this discussion. We are agreeing that this thing is a choice, and it's actually a very good choice to make. Yeah, it makes your life a lot less complicated.
Yeah.
Just rest, just keep yourself for that one person, and then put some value on
For that one person, keep yourself for yourself.
Yes,
and
that
then
one
put
person
some
might not-
value on the whole relationship eventually. Yeah, because put your value on yourself, put some value on whatever you end up doing eventually. Yeah, so but most especially make it a personal choice and be convinced about it. Don't just just say it's virginity. Our mother used to be virgin. No, after a while you'll get tired of it. Yeah, but when you make up your mind and say, this is what I want and these are my reasons for it, these are my reasons for it, you have a better reason to hold on, and you guys
Let
can
it
have
not
your
be that
last
you're
word.
pressured into it or you're forced, but let it be something you want to do. Because if you're forced into something, it won't be nice. Like you will not even feel that joy of having it. But if it's something you truly want, and it's definitely a good thing, so if you can't keep it, then please do.
So that means it's not really a measure of purity.
Yes,
per se.
it's not a measure of purity. And to all the girls that couldn't wait, and they want to reweight, it's never too late to try.
Yes, you can.
Like don't feel, and that's another thing about that language. I don't feel anybody should feel like it's too late to turn back, because when you put it in your mind, virginity is the end all be all. They lose it, they now feel okay, fine. I've already lost
nothing
it.
there, let's just be going.
Let me just be going. But
Yeah.
no,
No,
you can
please.
start afresh, and you know what? If it's coming from a Christian place, God will see you just the same.
Yeah.
You come with repentance, you want to start over, because like I said, that's your literal dad. He loves you, okay? He knew who you were. He probably even knew this was gonna happen, and he's waiting to accept you at any
And if
time.
it doesn't come from a Christian place,
if it doesn't come from a place of Christianity,
Yeah.
just do you.
do it for yourself.
For
Do it for
yourself.
yourself.
Do it because
Do it
it's
for your
good to
personal
do.
thing. Do
Yeah.
it because when you sleep with someone, you release
it because it's
oxytocin.
valuable.
That's literally the love hormone. Realize that whoever you're sleeping with, you're growing an attachment and a
Yeah.
bond to them.
Especially for women, yeah.
Especially
it's
for
Yes.
women.
stronger, yeah.
Men, their own is if they wait for a long period before, because they don't have. Because if you rush into something like that with a man, it's just an action. But if something where you made the man wait for it, then that attachment that you would have without waiting that's when you have it. I don't know why I'm saying this. Just saying.
All right, so thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for watching. We'd love to get your comments, your stories to
Subscribe,
share.
okay?
Please don't
Subscribe.
forget to subscribe, share with your friends,
Follow
and
us on
follow
TikTok,
us. Yeah.
Instagram,
Facebook,
all of
okay.
it.
Yeah, choose the
YouTube.
beginnings
YouTube.
podcast. Just follow us, subscribe, and share our videos.
Drop your comments.
Thank you for
Bye.
joining us. Bye bye.